Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness, Rage Across New York. This scene will be set outside for once, not even on a porch. Imagine that. Where 10 Point has settled down alongside one of the lakes in one of the Vale protected areas and is, god damn it, Robbie, is set out on one of those large rocks, one of those, nice large river stones. Not river, I guess, is a lake. Nice large lake stones. And is that damn it, Max? What are you doing? And is set out sitting and has a pile of antlers nearby. She's surrounded by shavings. She also has some clay lumped nearby, as well as various picked flowers that are set alongside her. Still fairly fresh. They don't look like they've wilted at all. And she is just industriously at work with a fairly small, fairly narrow little knife, and also what looks, if anything, like a very small pick, kind of scraping and working, and just generally very into her work at the moment. Bent over this piece of antler that she's got in her hands. And yeah, making a thing, doing her job. Dare I ask what you other chuckle fucks are up to?
There's going to be a crashing and a lumbering through the underbrush as oh shit! Hang on, wait! I got something for this. Damn it!
You do have something for this.
Give me a second. Yeah. But yeah, there's this big crashing and all this commotion, and it's so like commotion-y.
It's so commotion-y. Imagine that. Yeah, admittedly, she was pretty invested in what she was doing, but she'll kind of glance up with a brow quirked over towards all the stomping and the crunching and the frankly unnecessary amount of noise.
Crashy, crunchy. Something's running at 10 Point head on.
Well, 10 Point is going to do a thing and is going to... I mean, this is obviously a big fluffy lupus in a blur of fur and motion. And she's gonna play chicken. She's gonna kind of have her eyebrows pop, and considering that she's seen Dallas in other forms before, is just gonna play a fucking game. And she kind of braces herself where she's sat. There's still, all of her work around her. There's shavings all around her legs. But yeah, she kind of sets and braces herself and just lowers her head. Because she doesn't think Dallas is crazy enough to run into her antlers.
Oh, crazier like a fox. And I forget, what is tackle? Is it strength or is it dex?
I will have to check. Let me pull up the combat doc. But if you tackle her with her antlers down, I'm totes making you take damage.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
It is Dex Brawl, Diff 7.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
It's 9 dice.
You definitely have the range necessary to get effective momentum for a tackle. Congratulations.
She misses.
We will assume that she sees, good guy given sense at the last second and decides to divert because...
No, absolutely not. That's way too dignified. She topples over at the last possible second trying to make her
She
bound.
trips on a fucking antler.
She she comes over the underbrush, and as she comes down, it's muddy and wet. So she completely eats shit, and she slides with her front section on the ground, her hind ass up in the air, and kind of tumbles a little bit, now covered in mud, and she kind of moons her way, sliding up to a stop.
10 is going to very tactically not see this happen and turn her eyes back to that little bit of antler in her lap. She didn't see shit.
And Dallas will stand up and start shaking all that mud off. Right next to 10 Point.
I mean, she's over there. 10 Point's up on this rock. Ain't no
10
mud up here, buddy.
She'll walk over to 10 Point and take off on her. God damn it!
10 Point is now speckled with mud. Congratulations. She doesn't
More
seem overly fussed about it.
Is she turning her head away to keep mud from getting in her eyes?
Not especially. She's got the hair down though, so she's not exactly being at her most alert by any means. She's not looking at her. She like ducks her head a bit, in fact.
Then shaka 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 shaka.
What? You can't shaka shaka. You don't have opposable thumbs right now.
The sound her lips are making when she's shaking out.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Flopping jowls. Very dignified.
She's totally a catch for that fucking Silverfang.
Yep. 10 Point is peppered with mud. And once she has finished shaking, we'll kind of tuck her now mud-specked hair behind her ear, glance to the side, and say, "Good day, Raya."
She'll narrow eyes and she's just waiting. And then finally she just clamps down on the antler.
The one on her head or one of the ones on the ground?
The ones on the ground, like the one she's trying to work on.
One of the ones, yeah, where she started working and set it aside at like a partway finished point.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, she like goes and like makes for the dog grab, and at 10 Point will reach over to the other side and hopefully try to offer one of the ones she hasn't started working on.
Nope, definitely the one she wants is one of the ones that's been worked on.
Please, Raya.
Does she try and keep her from doing anything with it?
She won't stop her, but she says please. Kind of pleads with her to not.
She's not going to crunch down on it, but she starts shaking her head like a dog with a chew toy.
To be fair, 10 Point half expected her to just bolt with it for some fucking reason. So, if anything, she's a little relieved.
And at that point, prime ambushing right here.
Yeah, she's aptly distracted watching Dallas and praying that she doesn't either crunch or run. Anybody?
You fools.
Where'd you fuckers go? They're actually stealthed. Real life style. Oh my god, one of you unmute. Come on
Fine.
now.
You want dead air? Let's go, dead air. Right now. Shaka, 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 shaka.
Come on, guys. Flip a fucking coin. Do something. Killing me.
This is about the point that Felix, hiding in the shadows, tries to look around for Aiden, but is having difficulty because Blur of the Milky Eye. And he is looking for a signal.
At that point, Felix is going to just hear a snap of wood and Aiden comes flying out and Lupus on top of just hits straight into Felix, basically.
What? No! Ah!
As Aiden just like literally pounces to the point where the Lupus is right over him, like snarling.
I will punch a wolf in the face. I'm going to do it.
The Lupus drew all over him, basically. You know,
Hang on, let me look here. What's a punch in Hamid? That's
you punch my snout.
yeah. And since I'm aiming for the head, I believe that increases the diff by 2.
Mm-hmm.
It do, but it'll give you +2 damage.
You're gonna boot me on the snout, are you?
He's gonna boop your snoot.
Goddamn right, 2 successes.
Well, add 2 to your roll.
Oh shit! Oh.
That's 4 plus strength, which is pathetic. It's then equal to 6F1. Take nothing. Soak it. Soak it all, bitch.
You literally just lightly boop him with the snoot.
I like to think this translates to an open palm, like slap on the snoot, trying to push it away. Stop it! Stop it!
Aiden is patting, licking repeatedly, you know, pat, 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 pat. Then he eventually looks over at Dallas and 10 point, puts his paw on Felix and just looks over, you know, pat, 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 pat. That's the look he gives, that kind of sassy stare. It's like, yeah.
Are we all going into lupus? Is this the thing?
Aiden will just look at you. Well, you're the one hiding.
You were the one hiding too.
Yeah, well, I saw you first.
Yeah, well, okay.
10 point shakes her head and holds out a hand under Dallas's snoot. And again, hopefully requests, please try it.
And she lowers her front end down, tail up, flipping back and forth.
She sighs. She'll dust the antler flecks and curls off of her legs. And we'll slowly set aside the pieces that have been laid in her lap. Get herself up. And slowly shake her way down to Lupus.
And Dallas is gonna bolt for the water.
Really? I'm gonna doggy paddle.
And 10 point will edge up to the end of this rock where it oversees the water. And seeing as Dallas is going right for the water, is going to try to straight belly flop her from atop of her stone. This might end in tears. Let's find out, shall we, kids? That is... It's only 2 successes.
Dallas will attempt to dodge at a +2 difficulty because she's in the water.
Menace tackle.
Oh!
Damn it! 10 point proceeds to belly flop in the lake. As much as a dog belly flops, really.
And Dallas at this point is just doing that, like, you know, snoot up and circling around her in a full-on doggy paddle.
And 10 point will wait for her to complete her circle, and we'll make a snag for the antler. Bigger.
Gonna have to get all wet.
Because Lupus tug of war is totally dignified.
Very, very dignified.
You Felix is still. If Felix is not shifted by now, he'll get several pads of Aiden's lupus paws. You know, pad, 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 change, 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 change.
No, he's he's shifted by now. I was trying to get out that he was doing it at the same time as 10 point.
Oh, well, there you go.
And Aiden will pad off and mosey over to the water, basically, and just sniff it and just sit there staring at it.
Felix is going to run up behind him and like barrel into him.
Into the water you go, buddy.
Oh no!
Yep, 10 points snagging this antler, and now comes the Gurgurs. That I know she's not going to win.
Funny if Felix pushes me into the water.
Mm-hmm.
You pushing me in, buddy?
Yeah.
And once Aiden goes in, and we'll roll Dex Athletics, and he activated the gift as Aiden suddenly soars into the air. He's like yelping like a cat, basically.
Jesus!
All right, I'm gonna wrestle this antler, and I'm gonna use, I guess, Strength Brawl because we're Gur wrestling. I'm gonna fail. She just straight loses her grip.
Aiden flops into the water like a big wave. Just probably hits Dallas in 10 point, basically.
There's less than dignified noises coming from 10 point. She's gonna give up and paddle for sure.
Yeah, Aiden paddles to shore as well. He's shaking thoroughly, staring at Felix like, I hate you. As he's walking by,
Shaka, 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 shaka.
You know how sometimes you can see a dog and think that it's smiling because of the curl of its mouth? Yeah, that's kind of what's happening right now. Felix is his what would you call them, paws, twiggy bits, are completely submerged, and he's still, he's still at standing ground. He hasn't gone much further in.
He's at a severe risk for getting peppered with the shaka shaka water.
Yes.
Well, now she's not muddy anymore. And 10 point's gonna go ahead and trot out of the ankle deep water. Give herself a good roll in the grass. Probably come up with bits of dead grass clinging to her fur. Not seem to give a shit. She comes back up onto this rock to assess whether or not everything's been knocked akimbo by Aiden and Felix.
All of it. No, I'm kidding.
Knows a couple things back to where they were, roughly.
Dallas is going to swim under the water, or at least pop her head down underneath it, and she's going to take her time to shift up into Hispo.
What?
With an antler in her mouth. She's now shark mode.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. There's just like an antler that just sticks up out of the water and starts circling.
Point is left in a place of serious debate over how much she wants that antler.
To be honest, you could probably see Felix and Aiden doing the lupus wrestle with it, basically. One side is in Felix's mouth, the other's in Aiden, and they're pulling each other, basically.
I mean, as long as they have one of the ones she hasn't worked on, fuck it. Lord knows she has a fucking horde thanks to how often they have to be hacked off.
Dallas will come out, and in Hispo, she's much bigger, therefore when she shakes off, much more water. And then she'll, like, drop the antler that she has in her mouth and then look at Felix.
Skittery, 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 snatch.
And Dallas...
Skipper, 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 tail tuck.
Dallas doesn't do anything, but looks right at Felix and then just kind of, wolfy smirks and then goes, "Hey, Felix, that came off the top of a metis, that thing you've got in your mouth?"
Immediately lets go and starts, like, spitting.
Skitter, 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 back onto her rock. I didn't do it, I swear. Plunk. Spits out antler. Gives it kind of that dog side eye to see if any of the teeth marks have messed with any of the bit that she's already scraped.
Well, because they didn't actually have to play tug of war with it, I imagine that she didn't bite down too hard into it. So,
Yay! Slowly pops her head up to look down over the side of the rock. Make sure Felix isn't glaring at her.
Felix is glaring at her.
Slowly lowers her head again. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't like these games. They're not very fun.
gives a second shake off at behind Felix's flank. Just
Fucking points his ears up and like sulks his head to like turn a gaze.
Belle's got her tongue out and just waggling.
And you know how how dogs will like rear up on their back paws and then just like pound their front paws into the ground, like over and over again?
Yes.
Felix is gonna start doing that and splash someone. He's gonna be like, I hate not having thumbs. I miss my thumbs. I don't like it.
It's important to be like a wolf every now and again, Felix.
Yeah.
He looks over and
And from atop the rock, she's still ducked. Balance is important, Raya.
Whatever.
Does Skulkguard not have you?
And then there's
Have you not practiced in lupus before? Give the wolf do like a quizzical head tilt.
I've practiced wolf before I even came here, but I'll have you know that yeah, I'm practicing with Shady.
feel free to roll a perception alertness, sound based. Because 10 Point is mumbling and is not thinking about the fact that everyone's in lupus.
Free
But all that.
Oh,
success.
Jesus.
Oh wait, hang on.
It's -2 diff in lupus.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I still
Yep.
got it anyway. Is there any dots added to perception or no?
No.
No, it's just reduced diff.
Just -2
Okay.
diff.
Woo!
You rolling, Vinny?
for what?
Perception alertness? See if you catch her shade.
Sure, because that's difficulty 3 for me.
Difficulty 3? You're in Hispo.
So it's -1 diff and then whatever merit she has.
Yeah, she's got acute sense. Where's Maine?
Do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, so both Aiden and Felix will hear as 10 Point is mumbling, probably with her chin plopped on top of the rock, in the wake of her previous comment. What essentially amounts to, I would think you would know that better than most. She previously said balance was important.
Then there'd be a subtle like head drop as Aiden will just plop down. And he'll look over at Felix and just nod once, hoping 10 Point doesn't catch on to what he's doing.
Ten Point has purposefully broken line of sight. She can't see shit that you're doing.
Okay. As Aiden is looking over at Felix, the little tiny wolf will go, the tiny little lupus will go, balance is important, but have you ever hunted with Shady and lupus before?
I have.
How good are you at it?
Oh well, you know, yeah, I can hold my own.
The not happy levels are rising. I am going to roll a thing I don't have, and it's going to be comedic. That is one success to begin very quietly slinking down the far side of the rock.
Perception is to hear her slink away. Skitter, got 3.
I got 4 bitches.
I got 2s.
Yep. You all hear as this whole subject of hunting and lupus comes up. 10 Point has decided that maybe it's best to vacate this immediate area.
The wolf will just like pat out its tongue and, tail wagging from side to side. I haven't met Shetty yet.
No?
Shake of the lupus head.
You fought with her?
I did.
Yeah. Remember the tentacles, and again with the shattered hearts.
That was Shady.
Yeah.
Nods once. She didn't introduce herself.
No. You got to be more direct.
She's a boner. Not expecting much. They kind of look out of the water,
Sure.
Fucking hate bonars in this set, except for Mama L. She's alright, but the other ones, fuck them. Especially Katya.
10 Point reconsiders her retreat, pauses, snakes her head back up to snag the thing she's been working on the most or invested the most time in, gets that in her muzzle, and immediately starts being like, oh, well, what's that over there? I'll just go that way. Doop, 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 doop.
Tactical gift change.
She's coming up to Fostering soon, is she? He'll pat over to Felix like boom, 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 and then bop the side of his head with his snout.
Maybe. I don't know. Probably.
Just nod to himself. Be interesting to see if she challenges me for it.
Huh. Yeah. I can, yeah, do we have another Foster and Ragabash?
There are no other Ragabash on Sept.
No. Huh. Yep. Huh. That ought to be interesting.
Well, just nod.
She is quick. Give her that.
What is she? Hamad Lupus Melis?
Lupus. Doesn't much act like one, though.
She's a Ragabash?
Mm-hmm.
And 10 Point slips into the brush line.
Anyway, enough of this lupus crap, and he will relax into Hamad, basically, Frump. Crack his neck.
Yep. At that, Felix will also frump back as he's shifting his body, slowly turns from all fours into a standing with the knees bent sort of stance.
Don't forget you can snap back to breathe.
Yeah.
So Aiden would stroke his chin and look at him. How are you doing?
Well, me, I'm all right, I guess. We manip sub the shit out of that.
I'm a peony, you.
Okay.
Pokes nose back out of the brush. Oh, hey, people are in Hamid. Starts trotting back over.
Well, whatever you do, you successfully. I don't see through your shit.
Yeah, you know, I'm doing all right.
I know not. So, you doing anything for Sobek?
Skavgard already took his remains to Broken Whispers.
You should still do something for him.
I was wondering where. I don't know. Just wondering where Colleen was.
The smile. She's probably devastated. We're at the training grounds, actually. We should do something for him, though, at least. He's a good guy.
It was.
Pinpoint finally clambers back onto her rock, perches exactly in the place that she left from, takes up her little knife again, and starts back at it.
So I have a question for you, Felix. You lean up against a rock just by the lake.
All right. Quite a few today, but I'll bite.
And he'll take out his packet of cigarettes and start smoking them, and he'll look over, hand one to, if Felix wants one, he'll basically offer the packet and like look at them.
Nah, he'll put up a hand and go for his spider satchel, and he'll pull out a glass pipe.
You look at it. So, how did you feel about that new water?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't expecting a medit.
Yeah, me neither. And he'll smile.
I gotta say though, he looks tough.
I'm sure he is. You don't get the half out for no reason.
No, there's an eyebrow. Saying he looks tough when he has no teeth or claws seems like such horseshit.
Oh yeah, no, Aiden just smiles and I'll rub some lips up. That. Just the one.
Now, surprisingly, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna pee any of that. I won't. But I'll just give it to you, Felix. Kind of seemed like you meant it.
Suppose it's the teeth and the claws probably will make that statement a bit more interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He's got the bulk though. You know, and he like sort of puffs his arms out a little bit. He's like,
Oh, I'm not doubting his toughness. Like I said, you don't get to Atho for no reason.
all right.
But I am doubting one thing.
And that would be?
I think you know yourself.
Yeah, I know me pretty well.
I was wondering something, Felix. Hypothetically, say if I found a replacement for this warder.
Immediately furrows his brows.
Hypothetically now, of course.
Go on.
Say that hypothetical warder replacement is a very fine, powerful individual who we all respect, has earned his stripes. One that, when the Sept is under attack, he's proven his mantle. and taking down those tentacles with one swing of his hammer.
Now I do some Game of Thrones shit, but it's pretty next level, my friend.
I'm just saying, what would your opinion on it?
Well, definitely want to get him in on it.
Oh, I plan to. Don't you worry. Hayden will smile. It's just I was wondering something. You put Skovgard in water, you lose a wormful. So who would you pick as the new one? It's a tough decision when you think about it.
It is. Right now, let's see, Chloe's dead mother, so I don't think she'd go for it anyhow. And
Even snorted the mention of Chloe's name. Nah. I mean, a glasswalker would suit, right?
Teresa is the only other Adrian we've got, so. Huh.
I wasn't talking about an agent. You see, Garrett Cosman was a very effective wormful because he knows the city, and the Arun should be out there in the front line. The wormful oversees a lot of things. He's the puppet master. Now, who's very good at manipulating things that way? Wouldn't you say Aetherius is very good at that?
And of course, always has an eye on the goings-on about the sept and an idea of what's happening where. Innocently continues carving.
You can't seriously be suggesting.
Why not?
Because
You've
I've
been
seen
so
more
far.
challenges. No, go ahead.
You've so far participated in every mission that you've had. And you've had all the info. You have very good relations with each pack. Pretty much. We've had our ups and downs, aye. But you seem to be the most connected. That to me points to a fella that's obviously very much in the know. And that's very much wormful material.
Again, the innocent comment comes from up on the rock. There's also the fact that even now you have to supplement the Wormfoe's info as he speaks to the warder, as you are simply tapped into the line on what's happening.
Well, in theory, say Skovgard bites and wants to be warder. And that vacuum is to be filled by... And he holds his arms out. Do you have any clue how many times I'd be challenged?
Joe, the funny thing about being challenged is, Felix, and he'll smile wickedly.
Yeah.
You dictate the terms. And I bet you're a very smart man, aren't you?
Oh, come on.
I
There's
proved
also-
how you outsmart William White, Felix.
There's also the simple fact that if the warder were to see fit to assign his Wormfoe, there may be those who wouldn't want to anger the new warder. Or question his decision,
No.
as he might take offense.
I don't know. I think a Philodox could argue that a challenge is a challenge, so...
Oh,
So
that's
you prepare
true.
for it. You think on your feet. After all, if you get enough votes for you, I mean, Teresa, if you talk her around the right way, and after all, I'll make sure Saoirse is nice and comfortable at the idea. But we need Skovgard, Felix. Now, I'll convince him as much as I can, but I'm not his packmate, am I?
Oh, I see.
Doesn't it not bother you the way the likes of William White and all these people pushed this agenda?
What agenda?
And this is the result. This insult. Doesn't it not bother you?
I gotta be honest. It's only what, his second, third day?
I don't care, Felix. They've pushed us around and poked at us and prodded long enough. And this? He leans against the rock by the water. I cannot allow. There's tradition, Felix. There's everything. And what are we supposed to stand aside and let it all slip away because it's a new day? We might as well just open the gates to the fucking Weaver then.
Is that so?
There needs to be a harmony. And too much of the other side is going to burn us.
That sound, in theory. Before I go any further, I do want to remind you of where we are.
Oh, hi. I'm perfectly aware.
These people aren't typically a traditional people. They're very progressive.
I'm not talking about... You think. Rabbit's hair. Point I'm trying to say is, haven't you had enough? Didn't it bother you that that's the way the kinfolk treated us?
Admittedly, this has been a problem for the Glasswalkers, especially for what, decades now. It's the only reason why I handled that as well as I did. It's because it's something that we have to think about a lot.
So how can we come up with a balance rather than having both sides fight each other? Where I'm from, they know what we do. That's why they're so important to us. They
What do you mean?
understand.
What do you mean both sides?
The liberals and the traditional. There has to be a harmony. And I think with Skovgard as a warder and you as a wormful, I think that's the perfect balance. Because you can resonate with the likes of the others, and Skovgard reinforces that tradition of what he is, which is a proud get.
That works in theory, again. But it's not going to last long. It's politics, Aiden. There's no balance in politics.
And we've let it bully us. We let them take Garrett. Surfenturf's gone. When are we going to start pushing back and play our own game?
The balance in
How long
politics.
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead, Katie.
The balance in politics, Raya, is not necessarily a true balance, so much as a matter of who sets their influence in the right places and makes use of it. In this case, we are finally pressing our influence. We're finally asking for something back.
There's only one flaw with this plan.
What's that?
Is that the warder can't leave Sept.
True. So,
So Skavgard's not exactly the kind of guy that likes to sit around on his ass, if you catch my drift.
Considering the way things have been going, Raya, there's been plenty to do, even on the Sept.
Hmm.
Those tentacles did not attack us outside but once.
and it's only going to get worse. We do this the honorable way, and Skavgard challenges them, Felix. There's no dishonor in a challenge. But we need to convince him that it's the right thing. Same as I need you, as a wormfoe, to be able to enforce the right policies.
He squints at Aiden for a second.
You can roll a P&E on him if you would like.
I'm going to P&E the shit out of that. Shit, I put a period. Fuck yeah.
A pretty good roll.
How many did you get? How many
He
did you
got
get?
3. He got 2
3.
10s. It's pretty cool.
From what you can tell, Aiden is pretty serious. This has riled him up to the point where he's like, you know what, enough. He's pretty serious. This plan, you can tell he's thought about this very carefully.
Until he's earnest in what he's suggesting.
Yeah, very earnest, incredibly earnest. He wants you as wormfoe.
I can honestly say I don't think Skavgard's going to bite. And the notion of even suggesting it is probably going to get my ass kicked.
You leave that to me. I've got a thing that Skavgard might bite on. Don't you worry. As you tug inside his pocket and you pull out the... When Felix went to Chicago with Aiden, he saw he was carrying this chess piece.
Mhm.
It's time to put the king back in the board, Felix. And he'll look over at Dallas and smirk, and I bet any money Skavgard knows he's a king. Hearts and minds, Felix. He taps his head.
Dallas at this point is sat herself up on another rock, more or less sunning herself.
Oh, you don't want to share a rock with me?
Fine, she's sitting on the rock with 10 points. She's sunning
Yay!
herself.
He'll kind of turn and look at Dallas and Felix. I'm gonna plant the idea, and I need you to be the ones that fan the flame and build it. I need a wisdom, but I also need strength. I need both of you to do what your auspices do best.
And don't fear that we would go off half-cocked, Raya. We're Skavgard Raya to agree to this, or at least to think on it. I'm fully prepared to spend time with the warder, to learn about him, do practices with him, whatever it would take to bring him the information he needs to make a well-educated challenge.
Exactly. What I'm going to probably maybe suggest to Skavgard is we have a training exercise, bring the water along. Let's see what we're dealing with.
I gotta say, if If you can get Skovgard to bite, this'll do it.
It'll put things back in balance.
He'll nod, smiling sweetly, and he's going to roll minute sub because he's looking a bit too crazy about this.
Am I getting the crazy
He's about to
vibes?
say small bit. He's almost thinking to himself, it's like, that's going to wipe the fucking smug off Willie Might's face.
Here's a
Yeah.
side glance, sharp one, when she gets that little bit of crazy vibe.
Jesus.
2.
Fucking 1, god damn it.
Aiden just gives you his normal smile.
Oh, god damn it. I wanted that one real bad.
Nah.
Like I said, balance. And it reminds the likes of Jacob and the likes of ones who insult us. Tradition, in the end, needs to be balanced out with liberalism.
It has its place.
Does have its place.
It's time to be the good guy again, Felix. He'll smile at him, put his arm on his shoulder.
And yeah, he'll smirk a little bit at that. You do your inception magic, and I'll talk to him.
Like I said, I'll be talking to him too, but like a good man. You give him a big smile. Just don't forget who put you there, Felix. You give a great wink. You know, he's smiling at him, and you lean against the rock, smoking a cigarette.
Timpine will lift up what she's working on, blow on it, kind of hold it up, get a good look at it. Looks suspiciously like a ring, essentially. A bit bulkier. It's carved up all nice, but yeah. Seems fairly pleased with herself.
This has to be so quiet.
Why'd you think only me, Dallas, and 10 Point? No. Why'd you think we're meeting you here? Why do you think I want us to subtly talk to Skovgard? Why do you think I'm bringing him to the chessboards to talk to him? They claim to know the game, but they don't know it like a Ragabash does. Not at all. Garrett knew it. So let's see what happens when they make an Irishman their enemy. He'll smile. Roll another mid-sub sub, because that smile's a bit too, like, yeah.
A little too much enthusiasm in there. There's
Yeah,
another
no,
side
thanks.
glance.
He's just watching very intently.
These
I
fucking
can't.
rolls.
I actually cannot. I'm not gonna roll. I can't.
I'm still rolling, even though I can't.
You know,
we
I'm
did-
just giving that side eye. Start
We
on the next small piece.
Diff 4? Jesus.
If it's site based, yeah.
Nice. But Felix, just based on what he's been saying, he's just gonna offer. Be careful, Aiden. Remember that while we are Fosterns in the grand scheme of things, we're still we're still only 2 steps up on the ladder.
Precisely. That's why we're going to make the biggest difference, because you know why?
Mm-hmm.
We plant the idea and let the Adrian enact it. And that's the beauty of it. Nobody will ever know it was the Fosterns who organised this. I don't mind Softcard taking the credit. After all, he's an agent. He's supposed to, smile and squeeze Felix's shoulder.
Just don't forget, Aiden. Ripples.
I know. Why do you think I'm being so careful? He adds with this smile, whispering right into Felix's ear.
All the planning in the world couldn't have stopped the Impergium, War of Rage. Be as careful and plan as much as you like, Aiden Lynch, but there will be ripples. Mark my words.
More than likely, aye. But that's why I'm making sure when the ripples hit, the right people are there to correct it.
We'll see.
We will. He'll just wink and, whistle as he's basically smoking a cigarette and heading back to his cabin, whistling.
10 Point will hastily pack up. First wrapping up a handful of small bone pieces that she's carved. Very small, very intricate. And then we'll snag up the other larger pieces. Go ahead and pat the clay back at the shore. Take one of the flowers with her and hurriedly follow along.
What's Dallas up to?
Dallas is sort of pulling the vest out from under her head and unwadding it and sliding it back on. And she slides off the rock and looks at Felix.
Felix meets her eye. Not with that intent, but a very casual meeting of the eye.
Dallas crosses her arms, look at him. It's on your mind, Raya.
More curious about what's on yours. Through that entire pitch, from the first word to the last, you've been silent.
Well, I have an inside track on this. He's my tribe mate.
And
The idea is already in his head. And we didn't have to put it there. But the reinforcement certainly is enough. There's certain things that go with tradition. I think Skavgard knows that. I think he respects that.
I'll have to agree with you. Whatever happens, just keep an eye out for Aiden for me, will you?
2 eyes. As often as I can spare them.
He nods and tucks his pipe into his spider satchel, crosses his arms.
Aiden tells me that you're looking to have the dad talk with me.
Does he now?
That was the impression I got.
Right. Do you know the rite of binding, Dallas?
No. I know 2 rights. Well, 3, technically.
Do you know the rite of the fetish?
No.
So, safe to say you're not a theurge, right?
Not a theurge.
So, when someone doesn't know how to maneuver with certain unknowns and doesn't know a certain level of discretion, they shouldn't pretend to be a diplomat.
Diplomat.
I think it's safe to assume that whatever we met in that bar wasn't like us, but wasn't human either. And whatever they were, now they know our names.
True. But I think you know me well enough to know that if it posed an actual danger, and I knew that ahead of time, I wouldn't have said anything to that effect. But, all the same, I don't think she cares much about you two.
We can only hope, but at the end of the day, we don't know.
Well, I'm getting to know.
Is that so?
Yes. And she'll sit back up on the rock, put one leg up over the other.
If that's the case, I'd like to say that I won't mourn your death, should the worst happen, but you're not too bad, Hunter's Mane. Don't be stupid.
I'm guarded enough. I don't put myself at unnecessary risk. If I get the inkling that there's trouble,
I think you should check your danger sense then.
Well, going into her presence inebriated is probably not going to happen again.
It's wise.
And from what I've gathered, she doesn't have any ambitions that work at cross purposes with us.
You don't know that.
No.
That wasn't a question. Be very careful with everything that you say and everything that you do. That's all that I ask. And when I say that I ask, that is an order.
She gets a smirk on her face and closes her eyes for a moment and nods. I can comply with that, right?
I'm glad. On that note, I see two eyes that aren't on Aiden.
She lets out a sigh and will plop off the rock. It won't be too much longer now before my fostering challenge is up. Provided that the Seeker's Alpha returns to the Sept soon. I'll be happy to be on an even keel with you.
Maybe someday you'll learn. But when you get there, we'll see. Best of luck, Hunter's Mane.
You're not too bad. Negative exposure.
And he smirks.
Dallas will make her way off and go find the knucklehead from the old country.
And on that note, Felix standing there in his lonesome looks left, looks right, picks up his coat, and looks inside it for a good second, and smirks again, more warmly, and tucks it over his arm and steps off. And I think that unless there's anything anyone else wants to do, that'll be a good place to end it.
So thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. We'll see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.